Yeah.
That just goes to that.
Just get you here.
My bad.
Just give it 1 second. Wait for her to sign off on it.
Thank you.
Go.
JC, how would you just characterize the development of the offensive line from week 1 to where the group is right now?
Yeah, I mean, the development's been incredible. Seeing how we came from spring, summer to fall camp. Fall camp, we really saw all of our potential and what we really could be. And just looking to become that on a more consistent basis is really what helped us out. And as far as the season goes, just every single day, every week, trying to get better and better to eventually to the point now where we're not done, but we definitely have made some major strides in our development. It's been amazing.
JC, Coach Saban's known for being pretty squared away on game day and everywhere else. If you were a coach, what would your game day fit be?
Game day fit? Maybe simple. I'll probably just rock some, like a black sweater, kind of, polo sweater, some black slacks and some black shoes. Just keep it formal, white collared shirt, so just be professional about it.
Again, you've been here for a while, about 20 minutes or so, and asked a lot of questions. What's one question you wish the media would ask you?
One thing I wish they would ask me, I don't know, that's a great question.
Could be your why.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, I'm having a great time here, so I really haven't thought too much in depth about that on what I want to be asked. Just looking to represent my team in a great way. So.
Booker said some of the guys went shopping. He said he didn't buy anything yet. He didn't want to blow all his money in the first day.
Yeah.
Have you had any fun experiences here so far? Bought anything?
Yeah, no, I haven't bought anything yet. No, we were just going downtown, or I don't know if it's downtown or not. Rodeo Drive, I think it's called. Just enjoying that little walk, and then we ended up getting some food as a group. So it was a pretty cool experience.
In terms of Jalen Milroe, close relationship, I'm sure, with yourself and him. What's it been like to see him kind of go on his personal journey from the start of the season to what he's at right now?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Seeing him just grow and develop. I mean, I've known him since my freshman year, and the first time I got there, he was in the field house working out, just trying to be great, and having the receivers just throwing routes to, and yeah, so I seen that, and then obviously once the season's kind of started since freshman year, you kind of see where guys are at. You kind of see where guys are, put on the depth chart, and seeing his developmental stages from freshman year to sophomore year. Obviously, he got in his sophomore year, A&M and Arkansas game, and then seeing that then to now where, he's had an amazing year, and obviously he's had some adversity hit, but he's taking it on the chin full stride, and he's been a really great leader about it, really great person about it, and he's still finding ways to improve. So.
Is there a favorite Jalen Milroe story that you could share? Can either be on the field or off the field?
On the field, it was when he had won the, it was like some weekly award, and I congratulated him on it, and he just told us, like, let's get focused in Kentucky. And that was Saban was kind of preaching. That was a really big rap poison game. I think previously we just beat Tennessee and LSU, and he won the award the LSU week for his performance then. So, but yeah, just congratulating him on that. He was already locked in on Kentucky, so I really respect that kind of mindset of him not even dwelling on. Most guys would be like, man, we just beat Tennessee and LSU. People thought we wouldn't beat them, and we got Kentucky. This shouldn't be a big deal. We'll handle them easily. But he was already locked in as if we were playing Georgia. So, yeah, I really respect that.
Has film study this year been a little bit different when it comes to Michigan? Isaiah told us that you guys aren't allowed to take the tablets home.
Yeah, I mean, not really. If anything, I feel like it's been better. You got to be really locked in and intricate about the details of how you watch film. If this was, during the season or whatever case may be, as soon as I get in the car, I can watch some film, or as soon as I get at the breakfast table, I can watch it. When I'm at home, I can watch it, but obviously we can't. So when you get the chance to, sit down sit down in the meeting room and turn on the film and turn on the tape, you're really paying attention to every little detail 10 times more because you know you can't do it later. So I don't want to say it's a do or die situation, but that's how dire the situation is. So we take it a lot serious.
Is that like the guard against like Michigan from acquiring that film or something?
Just being more intricate and being more precautious with our work to understand that we just don't want to take any chances. So
Is that something you guys are worried about? Sign stealing?
not really. I mean, we're focused on playing the game. So I mean, I don't think it really is something I'm concerned about. So.
Is it something you followed closely? It obviously came out back in October.
Yeah, nah, I mean, someone asked me that earlier. I mean, back in October, you know, we previously just lost to Texas. I think we were dropping in the rankings, maybe potentially out of the top 10. And yeah, we were focused on solely how can we get better, what can we do to be better. So we weren't really worried about the situation that they had going on. So.
Do you think you've been watching less film overall after this change?
Nah, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, since we started this, since we knew we were playing them and we've been watching film together, it's been an hour and a half at a time that we watched film. I mean, yesterday, I think we watched film for, like, after practice, just on our own for an extra hour or two, just to really get a gauge on what was going on. We watched a couple games as a group. We'll do that every day leading up into the game. So, I mean, like I said, if anything, it brings us all closer together because we have to do it as a group. Or, I mean, you can do it individually, but you prefer to watch it with your teammates to understand as a group, like, what's going on so you can see everything at the same time.
First 13 games, it's a week-by-week thing. It's Saturday, Saturday, Saturday. Now you kind of month off since that Georgia game. Obviously, it's good to get healthy and have rest. Is there any kind of other challenges about having to wait a month to play a game like this?
I mean, yeah, the game experience. You're waiting a month to play one of the biggest games. That's a pretty big deal. It's kind of crazy to me to think that 4 weeks are going by and we're not playing. So, yeah, you got to be real cautious of what you do. You know, you got to make sure you're not celebrating nothing at all. You know, people they say an alligator is easy to kill once it gets its prey, and because it's satisfied. So that's the easiest time to kill it because it just finishes prey. And yeah, beating Georgia was a really big deal, but we can't be satisfied. We got to keep trying to be persistent and pushing forward and making sure that we're not done until the end. So yeah, this 4 weeks has been hard, but we just stay focused on day by day on how to get better and doing the same thing that got us here and just trying to increase it.
Is there any player or position group on Michigan that really stands out to you?
I think as a whole, Michigan has an amazing defense. I think you don't get that number 1 ranking by coincidence. I think they're really physical. I think they got guys at great positions and they can really fly around and attack the ball. So as a group, I mean, I just think they do a really great job.
What's your favorite thing you got for Christmas? Booker said it was his mom's home cooking.
Yeah, I definitely love food. My brother got me a cookbook. I've been trying to learn how to cook throughout college. I feel like that's a really impressive skill, especially as an athlete if you know how to cook. So I've gotten a lot better this year, but I don't think I'm on a Thanksgiving level yet. But my brother definitely helped me out and got me a cookbook for Christmas, so I really appreciate that.
Have you seen any team rotate their edge players as much as Michigan has this year?
I mean, we've seen a couple, not to the extent of Michigan, but I mean, close to it. Georgia, they rotated almost every single play, every other play, especially passing downs. Texas A&M rotated a pretty good amount, and Tennessee, they did a really good job at rotating. So, yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of different looks. So, I mean, it wouldn't be something that might catch us off guard. I mean, we just gotta be prepared for it.
How do you handle that as an offensive lineman when you're maybe going up against different guys pretty frequently?
Yeah, you just got to watch film, understand who you're going against, and just make sure that you really know what's going on. Situational downs. If they got a guy who comes in on specific downs where he does the same thing, you got to know that, and you got to be prepared for it. So that's why watching film plays a big part. I mean, some guys can just go out there and do it, but the game slows down a lot more, and it makes it a lot more easier when you know what's going to happen before it happens.
Being a student athlete's hard. How enjoyable is it that you're able to just kind of focus on football during this time off?
Yeah, it's definitely great. One of my favorite things about making the playoffs, I remember from my freshman year, just being able to wake up and get some treatment in, eat, and just really take your day kind of slower and just worry about the little details of the game. I love school. School is extremely important. But when it comes down to your schedule, it puts a lot on your plate when you're a Division I athlete, especially at Alabama. So when you take off the school portion of things, it just makes the sport itself a lot more easier and bearable.
I talked to Michigan safety Rod Moore. He said that Michigan kind of does a lot of things on defense that nobody else does, especially in the Big Ten. Anybody on your current schedule this year or that you played at Alabama that reminds you of this Michigan defense?
No, I mean, as I stated earlier, you don't get that #1 spot by coincidence. I think they earned it. I think they fought for everything that they got, and I respect it. Yeah, I wouldn't say anybody has ran anything similar to them. I think they're a very unique team.
Anybody on the defensive line stand out as being?
Yeah, definitely the whole D line, from the edge rushers to the interior guys, without a doubt.
Tommy Rees, quarterback, but we know that he has an affinity for the offensive line. What's that relationship like with your group and him?
Yeah, I mean, I love him, man. I mean, he takes so much accountability. When stuff goes wrong in practice, from my standpoint, you see a guy might get beat, I might get beat, or pocket might collapse, and he immediately yells at the quarterback. He always blames the quarterback, saying, "Hey, you should have got the ball out quicker. Hey, you should maneuver in the pocket." And from my standpoint, it kind of, you respect the guy like that because you know every time something goes wrong, everybody looks to blame the offensive line, but he pins the responsibility on the quarterback, and he definitely kind of shoulders that burden that we get when stuff goes wrong, and he definitely tries to help us out in all different types of ways. You know, some people out there on some teams, kind of, if something's going wrong, they're going to just, and there's nothing wrong with it, but try to hold the player accountable. He tries to accommodate for the weaknesses that you might see to kind of make it a strength. So I respect that a lot, and he'll keep it real with you. I mean, after the first game or before the first game, I think we had a meeting, me, Seth, and Booker, and we had to talk about how we can increase our practice intensity and how we can do better as a group. And yeah, he'll tell you like when something's going wrong, but he'll never blatantly try to disrespect you, and I respect a guy like that.
You talked earlier about the process of trying to stack things week by week and adding new wrinkles to kind of get to a culmination point. How has that kind of played out from your vantage point this year?
I mean, it's been an intricate part of our offense and an extremely important piece of our offense, but we didn't have that ability until I would say about halfway through the year. I guess we kind of started peaking at the right time when we played Tennessee and LSU, because previously to those games, you saw like the glimpses of what we could be. You know, the A&M game where we had the amazing second half, or the Ole Miss game. You know, so just being able to see what we could be, and it wasn't like a hey, you gotta do better here, like you gotta win this here. Like, I mean, we were a couple steps away from having a lot more explosive plays, and I told somebody earlier, like the Ole Miss play where I missed the linebacker, that was a really big deal, and the next closest guy was 20 yards down the field. I pick him up, that's an explosive play right there, a potential touchdown. So I mean, just little stuff like that, to where we saw and we knew, because we do it in practice every day. We know, like, okay, if you come here and you have great technique, you'll make the play. And it wasn't like something that, like, oh, we need him to try to make the play. Like, we know we can make the play. So once we knew it and once we saw it, like, firsthand, then, I mean, that's kind of when we started to put it together, and then just put it together for 60 minutes.
Michigan's been modeling their backup quarterback off Jalen. Can you really model a quarterback like him?
Nah, I mean, I think Jalen's unique. He's one of one. I've said it at SEC Media Day in July. I think he's a Heisman potential quarterback. The ability to throw the ball around and from any angle, to maneuver the pocket, and then extremely explosive. And then what adds up to it is, you know, most quarterbacks when they run, yeah, they can take a hit. Sometimes they slide, but Jaden's looking to deliver a hit. Numerous times you see him stiff arm and got to the ground. LSU, he ran over a DB. And it's not just the small guys, it's the linebackers too. So anybody who looks to tackle him, I mean, the guy squats like 500, 600 pounds. So, and he's fast as ever. So anybody who looks to tackle him, it's not going to be no easy task. So yeah, I think that's a one-on-one quarterback for sure.
I know it's still full steam ahead, but to go from where you guys were earlier in the season with the sacks to kind of really dominating Georgia on the ball, has there been a moment kind of with you guys and Coach Wolford to kind of be appreciative and proud of all the progress you guys have made?
Nah, I mean, that's when you get complacent, and that's a real dangerous emotion to have, because that's when you can get beat. We take it in. Yeah, we beat Georgia, 24-hour rule. You know, we watched the film, I think that following Monday. And yeah, you'll let it be known like, hey, you guys did a great job in this game. But like once the game's over, once you get done watching film, you move on from it. So you don't really look to kind of dwell in your success. So.
Jalen had to step in for one of the best quarterbacks in Alabama history. How's he been as a leader this year as a starter?
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier with the Lank motto, he's been a believer in himself, and even when everybody kind of wrote him off, even when guys thought he couldn't get the job done, especially after the A&M game last year, he's never gave up on himself. He's always been consistent, persistent, and just looking to overcome all obstacles in front of him. And he's kept God first, and he understood what we had to do to be great. And he's always been team first and, understanding what we have to do to be great. And I respect that a lot. And I know he probably has Bryce in his corner who's kind of supporting him as well and who's letting him know, like, what he could do better. And, so, I mean, I think he has all, little intangibles to be great.
When you guys step on the field Monday afternoon, what do you think the number one most important thing is to win the game?
Protect the quarterback. I mean, if you protect the quarterback, it can get really dangerous just in any offense. Any offense that you play with, if you're able to protect the quarterback and give him time to make the throw, I mean, I think, anything will happen, especially with a quarterback like Jalen, who, like I said, is if nothing's open, he's going to make a run for it and make something happen. So, that's a really dangerous combination to have at quarterback. And if you just protect him and give him time, it's easier said than done, obviously, but it's definitely a critical point of the team from an offensive standpoint.
Sounds like Jace is going to be back with you guys this week. How important is it that he's back in the offense and feeling healthy?
Extremely. I mean, he's a vital part to our team. We have guys who can obviously play at running back who are extremely good as well. Just adding him to the mix just makes it even more dangerous. We've always believed in ourselves, so whether we play with him or without him, we know we'll always get the job done. But just adding a guy like him of his caliber would definitely make us more lethal and more of a threat.
When you were younger, started playing football, obviously before you got to the size you are, was there a different position that you kind of envisioned yourself playing when you were a kid?
Yeah, I used to play D-line. I used to play D-line, and I was a D-end. And then from like a rushing standpoint, it seemed like the nose was easier to get to the quarterback than the end because, like, he's right in front of him. So I asked to play nose, and they put me at nose, and I was getting so many sacks. They made a rule that I couldn't play nose no more. Like the league came together, was like, yeah, you can't play nose. Like you can only play D end or whatever. So that's when I started playing that, and then it took off from there. I eventually went to IMG and then switched over to O-line, and everything's been working out great.
What's your favorite thing about playing tackle?
Protecting the quarterback. I feel like because I used to be a DN, so I always feel like a skilled player whenever I'm at O-line, just kind of getting into my pass set and blocking for the quarterback. It's physical and it's I feel like a DB doing it. I mean, that's the most relatable position, You're in one-on-one space. You're going against a guy who's trying to get somewhere, and you're trying to hold him from doing it. So, you just feel like a DB when all that's going on because you're trying to make sure you're trying to get somewhere and I'm preventing it from happening. So.
What was more satisfying, the feeling of getting a sack or the feeling of going through without allowing a sack?
Oh, I think both are pretty. I might have to say the feeling of going without allowing a sack, because when you get a sack, you think about the other plays where you could have had a sack. You think, I almost had him there, I had a pressure there. So it's fulfilling, but not as fulfilling as going the whole game, throwing the ball 40 times and not giving up one sack. Because you look at the whole 40 plays that you didn't give up a sack on, and you just understand like yeah, I did a great job at that. So it's 40 plays in comparison to one. So I have to go with the numbers on that one. So.
How do you think you stack up with Eboigbe and Jaheim if you were to be playing on the defensive line today?
Bama offered me when I was a D lineman that little spring to summer when I was at IMG. That's all. I think about it from time to time. I'm 360 now, so I think about what would I be if I was a D line. I think about it'd be really dangerous to have, me, him, and Otis. Book was a D lineman too, so if I stayed at D line, he'd probably stay at D line. So all of us on D line, I think that's a extremely big defensive line. So I think about it from time to time.
Awesome. Thanks,
You're
JC.
all good.
All right, it's all good.
You don't mind me reaching by your neck?
Oh, you good.
Thank you. Yeah, you're good.
Let me take this.
We're gonna give it to you on media day.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.